everybody, welcome to Build and Ball, Episode 1. I am Andrew, I am here with
Zane.
And, well, today we're talking about the most overrated players, not only in fantasy football, but also just the NFL itself. So, yeah, we have a lot of stuff to talk about in this episode. Zane, our first podcast episode, are you excited?
Yeah, this is going to be a great series of episodes that we're going to have.
We have lots of ideas planned, and let's get to it. So here we are, overrated NFL players. Do you want to go first, or should I go first?
You can start it off.
I'll start. Let's start with fantasy football, because I know half of you guys are probably here to see that. I wrote down Travis Kelce, and a lot of people are right now scratching their heads, and they're like, what in the world? I mostly did this because of the fact that I don't think Travis Kelce and all these tight ends in top tiers like this should be first picks. He's good. He's really good. And if you're in a big league, like 14 or something like that, I'm saying this for like 10 or 12. In round 1, he should not be drafted.
Yeah.
Last year, he wasn't amazing. Yes, he gets a ton of targets from Mahomes. It's a great duo. But overall, I just don't think he should be a first-round pick. And, what about you for fantasy players?
For fantasy football, to start it off, I have Caleb Williams. As Andrew said, many people are probably scratching their heads. I think Caleb Williams is going to be good, but I just feel he's too ahead of himself.
Do you think he should be a starter for most teams in these fantasy leagues?
You could definitely get away with starting him. Maybe a late 5th-round pick. But, I just feel like he's too ahead of himself, too cocky.
Yeah.
I also feel like he's just going to make really bad decisions and tight throws. And then that's going to end up in him throwing a lot of interceptions.
Him on USC, he was a great player. Yes, USC's not the greatest team ever also. Sorry for USC fans if we have any here, but it's not the best college team ever.
Mm-hmm.
But Caleb really brought them to life. But I think, I always have said this. Yes, CJ Stroud, really good. Anthony Richardson, I think he's top tier. But I just don't think he's quite ready. I don't know. He looks decent in training camp, but I just think, yes, he has good weapons too. But yeah, CJ Stroud also did. But I don't know. I kind of agree with you. I think Caleb Williams. Do you have any more stuff to say about him?
Not much. I feel like he's just going to only throw to Roma Dunzier because he literally asked the Bears to draft him or whoever he was getting drafted to.
Yeah. All right, well, let's just go on. I have another fantasy football player that I really want to talk about, and it might confuse you guys. This is my last fantasy football player I wrote down, but it's a big one. And yes, I love this player. I love this team, Stephon Diggs. Yes, I think a lot of people know what I'm about to say, but he's on a loaded team now. Nico Collins, amazing year. Tank Dell, if he wasn't injured, he was on his way to be one of the best players that year. So, yeah, I think both of these wide receivers on the Texans are great. I just think Stephon Diggs, yes, he's a great player, but he fits in, but, and CJ Stroud's a great player. But, let's be honest, will he get as many targets? And also, last year, he had, so 2022, 2 years ago, he had 1,429 yards. That's really good. And, this year, yes, it's still a 1,000-yard year, which is always great. You always want to see those quadruple digits on your charts. But this year had a bit less yards, 1,183 yards, and he also had 8 touchdowns, 3 less than last year. I also think the fact that he's on a stacked team now, and CJ Stroud's great, but I think Josh Allen is honestly probably better. So, I don't know. I just think Stephon Diggs won't get his time that he wants on the Texans.
For sure.
You have more.
I agree with you a lot about Stephon Diggs, but I also agree, but with Keenan Allen and the Bears, it's kind of the same situation. Loaded team. They have DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Cole Kmet, and good weapons on the ground like DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, I mean, another Bears player you're mentioning.
Yeah.
And we're not anti any team here in this podcast. We're not biased.
Yeah.
We're just saying for fantasy football,
Yeah.
maybe don't look at these players.
Also, he's pretty injury prone. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets injured this year, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Keenan Allen last year was he injured? I think
He was.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah. Is that all you have to say with Keenan Allen?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. I have no more fantasy football. If you have another one,
I don't.
go ahead.
I don't.
You do not. Okay. Let's go to NFL. Not fantasy football, so it's not about drafting and not drafting. It's not about overrated players in fantasy football. It's about overrated players in the league. Like, they're not going to perform well for their team, or at least they might, but they'll be a bit overrated, and people might overhype them. For example, another overhype, and this is a tight end, Brock Bowers. And I hate to say it, as you can see, I'm a Raiders fan, but Brock Bowers, he's great, and he is a star. I mean, in college, every play he had on the field, he was spectacular. He was on Georgia, I believe. I think he was a great player.
Yeah.
But again, he has a lot of weapons on this Raider offense, which I love. And again, I'm totally fine with this. It's just he's a bit overrated here because he's got Devontae Adams. A lot of people say he's a top 5 receiver. I personally think so myself. A lot of people probably think maybe top 10 tier, but still amazing. His route running, top tier, and his hands are great. And we also have Jacoby Myers, who last season, unexpected.
He did pretty good.
He did great. And with Jimmy Garoppolo, a horrible coach in McDaniels.
Yeah.
Until we got AP.
AP.
But, and we had AOC, which he's still developing, Aiden O'Connell. Yeah, it was great. But, yeah. Also, not only that, but he might be battling for a starting position. I'm not sure. I haven't looked into that too much. But he looks pretty good in training camp. But also, he is a questionable quarterback for sure.
Yeah.
I hate to say it because I love that we picked up Gardner Minshew. He's cool. He seems like a good player. He did great for the Colts, and all he had was Pittman, and now he has a ton of weapons. But, yeah, I'm not so sure. In training camp, he's looking so I don't know. Again, it's just training camp. Preseason hasn't. I mean, yes, the first game happened, but preseason hasn't even really kicked off that much. In my eyes, he'll either have a really good season or a pretty bad season. Yeah, you can go ahead.
So for me, I have Mark Andrews.
Another tight end.
Yeah. So he was really underperforming throughout the time that he played last season.
Mm-hmm.
He had an ankle. He had a season-ending ankle injury at week 11.
Yeah.
Which really kind of ruined his season. And then Isaiah Likely, he kind of popped off.
He did really good.
He did pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just don't feel like he's going to be the same this year. I don't think he's going to be.
And he's getting older, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Older. Has, Zay Flowers, he's probably going to get more targets as well. Should I go?
Yeah.
I should go. All right, here we go. Another NFL. This is not a player. I know it is overrated players, but, going fantasy football, this isn't fantasy football, but, the Rams defense itself, I find them a bit overrated. I don't even know if they can be said overrated. I just don't think they'll be good. I'm sorry, Rams fans. I actually kind of like the Rams.
Yeah.
But this defense is just not it. Not only did they lose their best defensive player maybe in history, Aaron Donald, he retired. But, he was 99 overall in Madden. I know it's Madden. But he was 99 overall the most times in Madden history, so that's kind of cool as well. But, they had second worst pass coverage grade last year. I don't think they picked up anyone that important. And then they had ninth in D-line, which is fine. That's actually really good. Top 10. Come on, yes, Rams. But you lost Aaron Donald. So the backbone of your defense is kind of, not only that, but Jalen Ramsey left a while ago. So you don't really have a big captain anymore. Yes, I know there are a lot of good players on this Rams defense, but the star players kind of gone. They gave up the 15th most points last season, and their schedule was actually kind of easy. And this year, it's a bit more difficult. So not only did they lose their best player, but they have to climb back up the mountain and try and get this defense rolling again.
Yeah. So, for me, I have Trevor Lawrence written down. Even with the fact that he had Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, and Travis Etienne, he only had 21 touchdowns. He also had 14 picks, which is that touchdown to pick ratio is not great.
It's not good at all.
And then he had a below average quarterback rating with 88.5.
That's worse than like people like Derek Carr and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. It's pretty below average. Like, I thought he was going to be a good quarterback. Like, his rookie year, he didn't do that good. It's a rookie year, but like, I don't know. He was really hyped up, and now he's not.
And I think the Jaguar fans, and yes, I love Trevor Lawrence. He came from Clemson. I love Clemson, but overall, and I'm not a Deshaun Watson fan, don't worry. But overall, I just think the Jaguar fans are a bit overhyped about this guy. I think at the start, he's like, oh, this is a pretty star quarterback. This guy's really good. Now it's like, this guy can work.
Yeah.
It's like, sure, I'll sign him another year or something like that. I don't know. Nothing really special about him, I feel like.
I have one more.
I don't have any left, so yeah, you can go ahead.
It's Denzel Ward. He's in arguably the toughest division now. It probably is now.
I mean, 3 of the teams made the playoffs last year. That's crazy.
Insane. And still, the other one had a really good record. So, he has to face really tough wide receiver ones like Zay Flowers, George Pickens, and Jamar Chase. He has to face those guys twice.
Yeah, that's...
And even, like, not including them, he has to face A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, and Tyreek Hill, top 10 receivers in the league. Because of these matchups, I don't think that he's going to pop off this year. He's still going to be good, don't get me wrong, but he's going to have a tougher time on the field.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, I think, is that it?
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think that is.
I have a bit of extra topics, and then we'll just wrap it up. It's not a long video, pretty quick for our first episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed it so far, though. This is really fun for us. Extra topics. I just want to say I agree with you on Mark Andrews. 100%. I think he's getting a bit old. I love the Ravens, but I don't know. I think he's a bit overrated. And then, I think in fantasy football, you should maybe, yes, there are people like Sam Laporta. Great player.
Yeah.
George Kittle, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
We've got Travis Kelce, he's really good. And then we've got Mark Andrews, who's pretty good. But all those players, I think you're going overkill if you draft them in the top, like first or second round. Go for a tight end later.
Yeah.
That's all I had to say. Well, that should be it then. Thank you guys for listening to Build and Ball podcast. This is the first episode. Episode 2 will probably release sometime soon. We don't really have a schedule. So, yeah. Have a nice rest of your day, night, evening, morning. I don't even know. But just have a good day.
Yeah.
Or night. That's really all I have to say. All right. We will see you guys later. Again, I'm Andrew.
I'm Zane.
And we will see you guys later on Build and Ball.